What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Pipe Bomb Sessions. I would say this week was a little bit slower, WWE realm, just in the sense of SmackDown at least. Last week's SmackDown was more so a filler episode. You could tell just from how they were going about setting everything up, even to the main event, that it was more of a filler episode. I feel like even Raw this week was more so like, yeah, let's do our final hypes of Mania, and let's call it. I feel like SmackDown this upcoming week may give us more info on Mania for any matches that are possibly going to be changed, confirmations, and especially one match that we're all waiting to find out who the hell is Randy Orton going to be facing. Yeah, so we thought we were going to find that out last Friday on SmackDown when Nick Aldis came out. Starts by inviting Randy to the ring, says that, hey, like, I don't know what you think you're doing. Can't be RKOing me like that on a constant basis. Randy Orton straight up says exactly what we were all thinking. He paid in advance. Last time he had to pay a fine, he paid double. So he's kind of covered right now. Nick Aldis was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Randy Orton was pissed, and he had to make someone pay, and Aldis was the closest guy. Nick Aldis seems like he was pissed. He's talking about how he wants to be respected by Randy Orton, and that he thinks that basically things have to be different, and as the GM, he shouldn't be getting RKO'd. And Randy Orton basically rebutted him with, "Hey, by next week, if you don't tell me who my opponent is, you better hope Mickey James is available to take care of you after I'm done with you," type of situation. So I'm like, oh shit. I think this is all setting up for an Aldis versus Orton Mania match. However, we know that, hey, Rusev's lurking around. Aleister Black could be lurking around as another guy. So we have a couple surprises that could be in there too. It is sad that KO had to get neck surgery, and I hear he may not be available till all the way past next year's Mania. So again, speedy recovery to KO, and hope everything's all right. We'll see him soon again. I think one man I was hoping wouldn't be in contention for being the opponent for Randy Orton is the guy who came out and interrupted him and Aldis in the ring, which was Solo. Solo and Tama, they come out, start talking their smack as usual. Orton says, "Why don't you get in the ring so we can settle this?" They start to surround the ring, get in there. Orton starts fighting. Brings LA Knight out for the save. Yeah. And then that basically sets up our main event for the night. I felt like once that happened, that was the main event of the night. Felt like a lot of the rest of the evening was going to be this type of, I guess, speed. This is how we're going to go through it for this SmackDown. It was very interesting to me, I thought. I want to go next into our new number one contenders for the women's tag team titles. They're going to be facing Liv and Raquel at Mania, and those women who want the gauntlet are Bayley and Lyra. I actually find it interesting that they teamed up after Bayley barely lost, and Lyra basically stole a win to retain her IC Women's title on Raw. Now they teamed up and ran the gauntlet. Literally ran the gauntlet, took everyone out. I mean, they were the strongest team on that list of teams that we saw when SmackDown announced this women's tag team gauntlet to determine who's going to face Liv and Raquel. But hey, at least the women's tag titles got to the card. I had a feeling they were not going to let Liv not be part of Mania. So smart, you got them on there. And Bayley and Lyra are two popular people, especially Bayley, obviously. So I think that will go perfectly fine without an issue or a hitch. And things should be rolling pretty well. I will not say that I can see new champs in this one. I can see Liv and Raquel keeping their streak alive, but I could see some commotion happening during this match. I'm going to touch base on that a little bit later, though. One thing that kind of got more aggressive and more hyped was the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre feud. I know they've been going at it for a while. This guy Priest's been, sorry, not Priest. Drew McIntyre has been walking around with a damn eye patch and saying that his eye's been legitimately hurt, which they're saying it was. Some glass went in it. Hopefully McIntyre is all right. And one thing that ended up happening because of that situation was that they made this a Sin City street fight, baby. I like that. Two hard hitters. Let them just go at it, brawl. Finally, we have some type of gimmick match, man. I know it was a feud that I didn't expect it to come out of, but hey, I'll take it. A street fight's a street fight. So I will not be opposed to that. You know, of course, they brawl when they come out, and Drew starts attacking them from behind, goes into the ring, cuts a small promo, and takes off the eye patch and says, yo, I'm 100% cleared. Come on, Drew. We all knew you were 100% cleared, man. I was not expecting you, of all people, to be missing Mania at all. So that is good to see. And in the end of that brawl, we see that Drew McIntyre takes Damian Priest's chain after basically leaving him laying. So we've seen this from Drew before. I hope this doesn't mean that we're going to get an extended rivalry between these two. But let's see how it goes. I think this rivalry was definitely not one of those I was super excited about at first, but slowly it's grown on me. Slowly I've been getting used to it. So I totally can't be upset, I'll say. I'm also kind of excited, actually, for this match suddenly. I think this may be a better match than most people are expecting, including myself, just because I wasn't really looking forward to this feud or rivalry or fight, as I just mentioned. But just the way they've been going about it, seems like they are trying to get to that level where they want us invested in it. And hey, I'm invested, so you got your goddamn wish. Ba-boom. Another guy who got his goddamn wish was Birdo this week, because he wanted to face Rey Fenix to show him how much better he is. I mean, of course, it was a good matchup. Birdo's a good wrestler, no doubt, but Rey Fenix came up on top. And we see Santos Escobar come out after the match, you know, ask for a handshake type of situation. Seems like he's disappointed in Birdo. All this smack, all this talk, just for Birdo to lose and not get the job done. And then in a backstage segment, we also see that Andrade reappears after who knows where this man's been. And he kind of seems like he's giving a helping hand to Birdo, or offers it at least. But Birdo denies it, says stay out of his business. I can see that this is how possibly we can start seeing a rivalry and Andrade possibly being involved again, which is good. I will take that all day. Andrade's a great wrestler, and I think the opportunity should be there for him. He left AEW to get opportunity here, only to be stuck in, seems like, the same revolving freaking circle. So let's hope we get him out of that and get him into the ring, finally. Please, let's do something. That then brought out our QB1 to the ring. You know, he's just hyping up, as he's been doing whenever it's solo promos with him. And on SmackDown specifically, I will say, he calls out Cena for his shit and basically says he'll be seeing Cena next week, which is this Friday, because Cena will have one last appearance for that SmackDown. That should be interesting. Cody Rhodes basically just hypes up the match. Then we get, and personal favorite of mine, we finally see Roxanne back in the picture. We get Tiffy versus Roxy, and that was pretty dope. I mean, I like both women in this situation. It's not too bad. And, of course, Charlotte comes after the match, attacks Tiffy. I did like that Wade Barrett was standing his ground and preventing Charlotte from kind of getting a couple more shots on Tiffy while she was down. It's like, this man Wade Barrett has a bet placed on Tiffy to retain that title. Make sure she gets there. I like it, Wade. Good shit, man. And yeah, this is a wrap for SmackDown with the main event, which is, you know, LA Knight and Randy Orton versus Solo and Tama. The match went as expected. After a certain point, everybody starts brawling. Tama and Randy Orton, I think, are left in the ring. And on top of that, Solo and Randy Orton started fighting, and they start fighting from the crowd, and basically they disappear out of the match. LA Knight and Tama are left in the ring. LA Knight hits him with a BFT. Boom. Celebrating. I was wondering where the Samoan werewolf was at. Ba-boom. He attacks, gets some nice shots off, and we get a very interesting pose of him with the title at the end, standing basically, or sitting tall, I guess, in that situation. Interesting. Okay, yeah, sitting tall. I guess that works. But I think personally that was pretty dope. You get Jacob Fatu in there somehow or another. But as I just described, this episode of SmackDown was really one of the slow ones, I would say, just in the sense that they knew, I feel like it was more of a filler, not going to have a lot of superstars, and they kind of just put the main event together right from the beginning of the segment of the night. So that's how I can tell, like, oh, okay, they didn't really have a lot of direction for tonight's episode, which is not a problem. I mean, the go home episode is happening this Friday night anyways, so I'm not really worried about that. Let me shift gears to last night, Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was pretty interesting because apparently Gunther was scheduled to have an interview and all that, and this guy just comes out. Kick off the show, comes out, pissed, heated. He looked a little frantic to me and, like, frustrated, I want to say. So I'm like, okay, what's up with him? He seems like he's getting a little nervous. Uh-oh. We haven't seen Gunther nervous like that in a while, I would say. So, and especially never against Jay so far. And he's upset. He's calling out Michael Cole. The interview's basically over. He's saying this or that, and pretty much he ends the promo with saying that Jay will have to understand that there's going to be nobody else but Gunther standing tall over his body. And again, he's going to put him down just to make him 0-4 against Gunther. That's the crazy part. So Gunther's looking for that 4-0 streak. Not really sure he's going to get it. Sorry, Gunther. I'm going to be honest, man. A lot of hype is going towards Jay, and we did see a more serious side again, I would say, a little bit this week. I liked a little bit attitude changes. But I like the middle ground of Jay. Like, not too much on the Yeet side, not too much on the right-hand man side. A little bit of the middle is not a bad thing at all. Gunther comes out, does that promo, basically leaves. And that's the end of that for now. I guess that was their last hoorah for the World Heavyweight title matchup for Mania. Again, I feel like it could have been a little bit more hyped, but, let's see. Let's see how it goes. And I think then we transitioned into, what was it, the Bayley and Liv match, which, hey, not a bad match at all. And then we see that Bayley stole the win after Raquel tried to interfere for Liv, but then as Liv went for the Oblivion, freaking Lyra saved Bayley, and Bayley got to do the quick jackknife cover, 1, 2, 3. Liv is looking a little shocked and pissed that she just got beat like that. So that would be pretty interesting. A match that got added last week that I want to touch base on because I've been waiting for this is Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. That match is officially set for Mania. Hopefully we get the damn reveal of Chad Gable because, ladies and gentlemen, El Grande Americano is definitely Chad freaking Gable. All right, come on. Like, it's just too obvious, I think, at this point. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Hopefully Rey gets a chance to take the mask off. And, we get this revealed. But hey, if they want to continue the gimmick, I just don't know how much further they can get along with it. I will commend WWE for getting Chad Gable onto the goddamn card this year, though. Because he's a good wrestler. Guy deserves it. Guy knows what he's doing. He can talk. He had that big push we thought last year. then kind of got dwindled out. So it's good to see him make the card this year. That's all. And I want to switch a little bit of gears towards a guy who's been messing with one of my boys, AJ Styles' head, Karrion Kross. Good matchup, by the way. Karrion Kross and Styles fought. They had a good matchup. Styles won. I want to take note. As Styles hit the phenomenal forearm, Karrion Kross got up with his hands behind his back, and he had a little bit of a laugh, it looked like. I don't know, maybe did he want to lose on purpose to really get the aggression out of Styles more? I felt like that's what I was seeing him do most of the matchup anyways. It's a very interesting tidbit, I think, in that sense. After Styles wins, Logan Paul then is here. What's up? He's hyping up him and Styles' match that, hey, everybody already knows that their match is going to cook. I can't believe this man really had a video package ready. He had us watch that real quick. And Styles says, fuck your package. Get the hell in the ring so I can beat your ass. Karrion Kross attacks Styles from behind real quick. Of course, then Logan Paul gets in. And then, Styles handles both of them for a little bit. We'll give him credit. And, of course, numbers game gets the better of him. And he's left laying by Logan Paul after Paul hits his new finisher, which I am not against it. I think it's a really cool looking finisher. But I do not know who's going to win this matchup. I think it should be Styles, but I can see if Styles wants to put Logan Paul over, have him win. Possibly Styles loses, and this is more work towards a new heel run for Styles. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Right after that match was over, we see Jey Uso in the back, chilling. He looks a little intense, a little hyped, and pretty much comes out to the ring, comes out just hyping up the crowd. Very small promo by Jey saying that, Gunther looked a little scared earlier tonight. He looked like he broke a little bit of that silver armor of Gunther's, and, he's going to beat Gunther's ass when it comes to Mania, and he's going to be walking out Saturday with that title. Let's see how that goes. And I think it's going to be, I do hope they surprise us with a good match. I'm hoping it's not one of those mediocre whatever matches, but I do hope they surprise us with at least somewhat of a decent match. So I can't complain too much, but let's see. Obviously, I still think that they should start the Mania weekend off completely with this match, because this is going to get the crowd in it, and it's going to get the crowd hyped. Like, what more do we really want at that point? And we saw more of hype from Penta, Braun Breaker, Dirty Dom, and Finn Balor preparing for that fatal 4-way match. First off, that match is going to be pretty well, but I didn't know this previously. It's the first ever fatal 4-way match for the IC title ever in Mania history. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was actually a real stat. Of course, they all brawl. We see that Penta's standing tall, and then we see that Balor, technically avoiding the brawl, is also standing tall in a sense. So let's see who really comes out of that with a W. Not really sure which way I want to lean. Still think low-key this guy Dirty Dom may take it. He keeps getting hit with spears, doubted, and all this stuff. I don't know, I can see it happening. And then, because we've been seeing it all night long, Paul Heyman's been waiting. Everybody else been waiting. The OTC finally arrives. And of course, when he finally arrives, he sees Paul Heyman and Punk talking, being close, chilling, hugging each other, arm around the shoulder type of situation. And Roman Reigns just looks pissed. He's pissed. He starts just walking from the backstage area to the ring himself. He gets to the ring, tells the crowd to acknowledge him, but the crazier part is that he told them when he took the mic himself, completely ignored Heyman when Heyman tried handing it off to him. Roman Reigns is pissed. He thinks Paul Heyman betrayed him. And he wants to know why the hell did he betray him? Why did he go and get a favor when Roman Reigns never asked for a favor? He doesn't ask for favors. He says he's the OTC. He don't ask for favors. That's not how that works. People owe him favors. He don't owe anyone else favors. Now, why is Roman Reigns the only one being screwed by this favor is what he believes, because he loses his wise man from his corner. Which, I mean, that's really not a false statement, right? Like, he does lose his wise man on the corner, and this might be the last piece, last domino to fall, where Cody Rhodes said last year that, hey, you're gonna lose everyone around you. You're not even gonna realize it. Look at this full circle moment. Heyman was the last guy standing next to Roman, and he's not gonna be standing next to him in his corner at Mania. It's gonna play a big part, I think. Roman Reigns just wants answers, and he's like, why does he have to pay for Paul Heyman's dumbass favor anyways? Like, that was his mistake. That brings out my boy Seth Rollins to a huge pop. Rollins is, of course, trying to connect the dots again with him and Roman, saying that Roman finally understands, but, Roman can't be the winner of the match. The winner of the match is going to take WWE forward to the future. He doesn't want to let anyone who's going to have WWE die win that match. So Rollins says he needs to win that match in order to define the future, because that's what's best for business. Roman did not like hearing that line, because that definitely brought back bad memories, huh? And you see that Rollins is now enticing Roman. Like, he's saying, like, hey, there was a choice that could have been made. Favors are choices. There's a choice that Paul Heyman can pay Rollins back for not stomping him last week. But that's his choice. It's Paul Heyman's choice to stay and go into CM Punk's corner when he could have said no. Roman's listening to this. I guess it's making somewhat sense, possibly. He says that, Rollins is right. Boom! Attacks him. Freaking throws him into the ring post. He's out of the ring. Paul Heyman's all excited. And on the mic, he's saying he acknowledged Tribal Chief. As he says that, Roman's, does a little, fake laugh and freaking pushes Heyman to the ground. This brings out CM Punk. They start brawling a little bit then. And after the brawl, CM Punk checks in on Paul Heyman and then takes a freaking spear from Roman. After the spear, you see that Roman standing tall takes a chair shot from Rollins, who's back in the ring. Rollins delivers a curb stomp to both Punk and Roman. And then we just see Paul Heyman just in shock. Rollins stands tall with a chair in hand, reminiscent of exactly how he hit the chair in Roman's back all those years ago. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was a wrap on Raw. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, both SmackDown and even Raw, I felt like wasn't as crazily hyped, right? So, I don't know. I think everything kind of was a good placeholder for both shows to just get it going. I think Friday Night SmackDown is going to be a little bit more exciting because Cena's now going to have one last appearance before Mania. And on top of that, I assume we're going to find out who Randy Orton's going to be facing. I think those are two major plot lines we're waiting on. One plot line on the side for me is I want to know if the SmackDown tag titles are going to be online at Mania or is it going to be Friday Night SmackDown? In my opinion, they should be at Mania. But hey, cares about my opinion, I guess, right? Shit. I will say, though, this whole Punk and Roman thing going on, this has to be leading to a Punk versus Roman Reigns SummerSlam matchup. I can only assume that this is going to get extended out. So, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I personally think it should be pretty good. Should not be bad at all. I think it'll be pretty interesting. I am excited for Mania. Last year it was a little bit more exciting because of everything going on, obviously. I will say that Mania hopefully has some surprises for us. And just from some early looks at the stage that they're building, it looks pretty crazy and pretty freaking big too. So that should be pretty exciting. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. And before I let you guys go, I wanted to say a quick tidbit that, hey, I may be having a special episode regarding WrestleMania coming out this week. Probably be right before SmackDown on Friday night. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And as usual, do give me a follow, subscribe, and like, guys. And I will catch you guys on the next one.